Hi, everyone, and welcome to Truth Be Told, episode 2. Yes, we are here live on Facebook Live with Michelle Lorraine and the Truth Be Told podcast. Thank you all for watching today. I'm really excited about our topic. As you know, we're going to be talking about the parent and children relationship. Can we be friends? Can we really be friends? Come on, tell me. Can we be friends? Anyhow, we are going to be having a real live dialogue with my mom, Vona Lancaster, and my daughter, Shai-ann Richards James. Sorry, it's just James. She didn't want to take her name. So, Shai-ann James. And then we have our wonderful guest, Elever Baker, and her mother, Jasmine Baker. What's up? Awesome. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to have you. All right. So, today we said that we're going to be speaking about the relationship between a mother and their children. Can they be friends? And it's a very important question because we want to make sure that we understand the boundaries, if there's any, the type of relationship that you will have with your children, and then how does that progress to the next generation. It's really important for us to understand that what we build in our home with our family is something that they will carry with them forward with theirs. So we're going to have our dialogue with Aliver and her mom, Jasmine, and just give us a little brief introduction, Aliver.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Cheyenne. And so wonderful to see Mother Lancaster. Welcome to everybody. My name is Elever Baker, and I'm here with my mom, Jasmine Baker. Um, she's been my mom all my life. We're just happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. And Mom Baker?
Hi, it's so nice to be here this evening. I'm fortunate and blessed to have my goddaughter to be here with her as one of her hosts, with my daughter Eleva, and to see Mother Vona Lancaster. We go back over 47 years ago, and we're here together, and also Sharon and Jalen.
Yes, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Well, I'm going to let my mom say a little bit. So go ahead, Mom. Tell them all the good stuff about me. Go ahead.
Hello there. My name is Vona Lancaster. Uh, Nice to be on this program. I won't say I volunteer for this, but however, I'm here. I think it's a very good production that is being presented. And this is my daughter, Michelle, the third of four, and my granddaughter, the third also of nine. Isn't that
Oh,
something?
wow.
Yeah, I didn't even thought of that, but now I
Time.
do.
Time. 1 second.
We have to redo
It was
it.
on the private stream.
Oh. 1 minute. It was on a private stream, so we're going to start again.
Oh, because
You couldn't see it? Oh, she's
I've been look. That's what I've been doing. I'm trying to find
okay.
it.
I do apologize. That's my fault.
It's my fault.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know how
Jaylen's fault.
Facebook works, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No,
You're
you-
good,
yeah.
Mom.
It was
Should
on
this
the
have been an
private.
IG thing?
No. Because when we tested,
But
we
they could
tested
hear.
privately.
Yeah.
So we forgot to switch it back to public view.
We're going to do
Public?
it all over
Okay.
again.
So now I'll find you because I'm like, I was gonna text Shy. I can't find it. Okay, so we're ready now. Start again? Yeah.
But that was good.
That was
Everything
good.
was good. That
Was
was a
good?
good run through.
Okay. I know to say a little bit more now. Okay. I'm the first.
Okay, so now they're gonna be put back on silent. We can't hear them for a little bit. You also need to like give me a little bit more warning before you bring them on.
Oh, okay.
And I need to put it a little bit lower. You're blocking too much.
Okay. One more second, if you please. Okay. And everyone's quiet.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Truth Be Told. This is episode number 2. All right, we are talking about the parent and child relationship, in particular, mom and their children. And I'm so excited about our program today. Why? Because I've got my mom on the show and my daughter as well. So you got Vona Lancaster, Shai-ann James, and our VIP guest people as well are Elever Baker and Jasmine Baker. Woo! We are so happy that you are here with us, and I'm so glad that you took the time out just to share about your relationship as well. So, Elever, do an introduction for us and tell us a little about you, about both of you.
Hi, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for having us. It's such a pleasure to be with everyone. Hello, Facebook. So wonderful to be with Cheyenne, Jaylin, and Mother Vona Lancaster. It's so awesome to be here. Thanks for inviting us. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to share. Can children be friends with their parents? It's a good question. As I said, my name is Elever Baker. I'm here with my mom, Jasmine Baker. I am the first of 3 children. Whatever I say today, hopefully they all agree with what I'm saying. The other two. All right, Mom.
Yes, I'm Jasmine Baker, the mother of 3 children, Eleva, Ethel, and Shanique. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here with Mother Lancaster, who I've known approximately 50 years, and my goddaughter, Michelle, and her children, Jaylin and Cheyenne. I'm blessed to be here, and I pray whatever we do, you will all enjoy us.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Again, thank you for joining us. And I just want my mom to say something, just a little bit of something. She doesn't have to admit that I am her favorite child, but at least let her introduce herself. Okay? Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be on this production, whatever, screen. um, I think it's a very wise idea to be open, and therefore I'm here, and I hope my openness will bring forth some light on whatever might need to be. And this is my daughter, third of 4, and my granddaughter, the third and of 9.
We're both thirds.
Oh, wow. That's good.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
Oh, that's
Okay.
it.
All right.
That's
So
it.
that's my mom.
Yeah.
And now we have my daughter, Cheyenne. You give a little introduction of
Sure.
yourself.
Well, I'm Cheyenne. I am, of course, Michelle's first daughter. And as
Michelle.
Grandma said, I'm her third granddaughter. And yeah, that's it, really.
Okay, good. And Jalen's here, but she's working very hard behind the scene. But she might pop in a little bit later. We'll see what happens.
I don't think that's happening. You might hear her voice.
You might hear her voice.
I will yell.
Well, again, today we're going to have a very interesting conversation about children and their parents. Can we be friends? And it's a very important conversation because we need to know what are the boundaries that we have to have with our children and when does that take place or how does it transition. It's important for us to also understand that as our parents have raised us, what do we take from that and then we pass that on to our children and making sure that the next generation is equipped to have a solid and firm family. Now, I'm not saying by any means that there's any family out there that's perfect. There's no perfect pictured family unless you're watching TV and you know everybody's having that great moment. But it's not that anybody is perfect, but we want to learn from every experience and pass on knowledge. I believe I've heard Denzel Washington say, each one teach one. So every time we learn something, let's pass that on to the next generation. Okay, so let's begin. I have a few questions that I'm going to throw out there. And Facebook Live, everyone out there, feel free to chime in, send your comments, share, and actually do a watch party on this. It's really good. So, one of the things that I wanted to find out from, let's start with Mother Baker, is how would you describe how your mother parented you? How would you describe that experience that you had with your mom?
Well, my mom gave birth to 8 children. I'm the eldest girl and third child. We had a very loving relationship. She was very, very firm and no nonsense mother, but kind and caring and very strong. I have drawn a lot from her. She has taught me how to be a lady. She has taught me how to be kind, how to be caring, and how to be unselfish.
Right.
She also taught me how to love the Lord and to not just think about my siblings alone, but she has also taught us how to extend ourselves to others. Even though we were 8, all the children in the neighborhood or the community or the church were my mother's children. And that's something she ingrained in me, and which I have also tried to ingrain in my 3 children.
Right. Good. Excellent. I see Aliver's face has a little expression
Smirking.
there. Why is that, Aliver?
It's true. It's true. We've always so my mom took that from her mom and passed that on to us. Um, we were taught not to be selfish with our love, and to love all. And even as we grew up, I've always been known to love other people's children, and so in having that love for other people's children, when I had my own children, I just had even more love to share, which was really fantastic. My mom's my grandmother, so her mom, we can hear a lot of that in our mom. We were privy to we were able to. She was alive when some of us were born. Grandchildren were born, so we kind of got to see the interactions between mother and daughter,
Right.
and you could always see where the training and the respect was in that level. And my mom has transferred that onto us too. So
Okay.
she's
Now,
she's right on.
good. Now, would you say during that time, now you mentioned your mom was, very loving and, she taught you how to share that love with others. Now, when you reflect with your relationship with your mom, let's say when you were a teenager, how was that love expressed to you?
As a teenager,
As a teenager. Is it too early into the program to discuss this, Believer?
a lot of demonstration. It was very demonstrative.
Yeah.
Um, no, you know what? I found my mom to be very patient with us, even as teenagers. I mean, as teenagers, you're experimenting, you're trying to figure your life out.
Right.
I will say that I was far from perfect as a teenager, and I think it was more of the 16 and up,
Mm.
when I really wanted to just to be myself.
Yeah.
And I was never a child. My mom, it's very specifically, she didn't box us in, right? So we had a lot of latitude, because from a young age, it was instilled that you must have respect and must have manners. That was always the bottom line.
Okay.
And so becoming a teenager, the challenge was I wanted to express myself. I wanted to be free to do stuff. But mom was still there reminding us and pulling back those reins that you are still my child and we still have guidelines and expectations. So you can't run wild and free. And so she was very demonstrative with that love, in the way of sitting and spending time with you, very encouraging, and a lot of words, scripture, a lot of the Bible, and you're going to church tonight, and so they can pray for you,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, mom was very, very caring and loving. That part was never gone, and the supportive piece. We were allowed to grow and to allowed to express ourselves, but
Okay.
again within reason.
Right.
And yeah.
Right. Okay, great. So I'm going to now ask my mom how was her upbringing with my grandmother, when you were younger.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's it's like I didn't grow all the time with my mom because of circumstances. As a child, I was very sickly, and I am the youngest of 9 children. So I go back and forth to my older siblings for medical support because of where they were situated. But my mom was a very firm person. She's a no nonsense person. She loved the Lord, and you had to obey. We had to know that she was the one that is in charge.
Mhm.
Um, I don't recall her as the youngest of 9, giving a lot of licking, to the, but firm within her words.
Yeah.
You just had to, when she says don't,
That was
it's
it.
don't. Other than that, she was loving, very loving. She was a family person. She take care of everybody in the district. And that's how she was.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. And then, so when it comes to me and my mother, I find that listening to what she's saying, it was very similar. So my mom, very loving, very firm. And I know all of you know my mom, all of
Yeah.
you, right? Very firm and no nonsense. So you can see that passed on from her mom to her. We hear some of what Mother Baker's mom passed on to her. Now, let's hear what Cheyenne has to say about me. And again, I've told her, be free and open. It's truth be told. So go ahead. You can tell me what you. Go ahead.
Okay, so my relationship with my mom was very open and honest, I would say. Um, from before even being a teenager, she made sure that as I got older, I felt comfortable telling her things and talking to her about different situations that I encountered. So for me, as a teenager, talking to my mom about pretty much anything um, made me feel comfortable to do so. And then again, we had that loving relationship where I was taught to love everyone and to demonstrate that love. So we also, I think, had a lot of people come over to our house. We would donate a lot, give to charity, things like that, just to ensure that that moral of loving and giving was taught to my sister and myself.
Okay, good. So it's important for us to understand and see how relationships over the years have transpired within our relationships with our parents and how it passes on. Now, as a teenager, I know for myself, being the third child of four, and again, truth be told, I know I was, you know,
Come on.
probably
A little bit
the
disobedient.
most challenging one out of the
Nice.
four. Okay, so
But loving. But loving.
truth be
Truth be
told,
told, yeah, yeah.
however, I was adventurous, but I also still had a respect for my mother, and I knew that there was a line that I could not cross, despite the fact that you want to go to your mom and tell them everything or do everything, but there's certain things that you have to respect your parent with. So back to you, Aliver. You see your face. So as you are now a mother with twins, a girl and a boy, and how old are they?
It'll be 11 in 2 weeks.
In
Wow.
2 weeks. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Time has
11.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
time has flown by. Holy
Right?
smokes, yeah. So they're going to be 12.
Mm.
No, 11 in 2 weeks.
11.
11, yeah.
They're going to be 11.
11
So they just
in
got
two
a couple
weeks.
more years
For teenagers.
for teenage
Mm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking you, what have you learned from your mother that you are getting equipped to use for them now?
Okay, so one of the biggest and the strongest point of our relationship has been having a relationship. And that relationship stemmed from a foundation of respect. One of the things that I am working on and creating right now is that relationship with my children, that loving relationship, that comfort, that openness. It's very important that my children can talk to me about anything. I don't want them to hide who they are, their personality, their thoughts, some of their ideas, some of their ideas from me. It's important that we have that relationship. So my mom really instilled in us growing up the idea and the comfort of being able to talk to her. Truth be told, I wasn't afraid to talk to my mom about anything. Mom, along with that, we're very open. So there was nothing that was taboo for us in our house. So all forms of dialogue happened. I was exposed through my parents to information that I didn't have to go searching for because I could just dialogue with them. They didn't get angry. Boys wasn't something that, oh no, not in my house, no. So I could talk about that. Relationships, what are healthy relationships, what do they look like? That was a conversation we could have. So the hope is to have those that openness with my children. Now they're 11 now, or to be in a couple weeks, but the generation today is moving a lot faster than we did at 11. So I'm having conversations like, truth be told, this quarantine has been amazing. I really am getting to know my kids, where they usually would have spent 6 to 7 hours outside or at the home. Plus, then I would have been another 2 hours out of the home. So you kind of only see each other in passing, but now we're home all the time. Yeah. And so I get to see and understand more of them. So that building of the relationship is becoming more concrete now. So it's that comfort level and, understanding them and their ideas more.
Right. So, Mother Baker, I'm not sure if you're moving forward because you wanted to say something. Do you have something on the tip of your tongue? Just checking.
She's just intrigued.
So it's so important that we understand as well. Like when you talk about getting to know your daughter and your son a little bit better now, how is it different? Like in your thinking, let's say for example, the conversation about sex.
What about it? It's not a bad word. We can say it all together. Not, 1, 2, 3. Sex.
Vona Lancaster say.
Sex. There you go. So, like, when you talk about it, like, I'm sure for Mother Baker and for
your mom,
for Mother Baker and my mom, I'm sure probably back then it wasn't as, that open conversation about sex. So
in my house,
in your house with you, yes. But
it was very open.
Yeah, but back in the day, lots of people had that fear of talking about sex and things like that. But it's very important for us to have a conversation like that. So some people will feel that they go to their best friend to have that conversation. Yeah. They go to their best friend to talk about boys. They go to their best friend to talk about an issue about a friend. We should be able to talk
Google.
to our parents or Google it. Yeah, exactly. What?
That's nice. So can I just throw something in here?
Go ahead.
It's very important to understand the relationship my mom has with my children. Because we cohabitate, right? Yeah. So especially when school was on and I wasn't home as often because of time, my mom spent a lot of time with the children. Right. So the relationship that she's developed, and she's realizing that she can't parent them the way she parented me. Right. Right? Yeah. And so there's a lot more frustration because it's that, that time challenge. Yeah. So, but she's learning from my children, which is really great. And they're learning a lot from her.
Mm-hmm. Right. So even my relationship...
I'm sorry, Michelle, I can't hear you.
Yeah, even my relationship with my mom and her relationship with Shai-ann. I mean, I'll let her talk on her relationship with Shai-ann and Jaylin and how it's different from when I was growing up and having a relationship with her. You would say it's different.
That's true.
It's different. It's much different because then you're raising your own child, and again, with my parents, like you didn't have that kind of a chummy um time together. You had time together, but not in that chummy way. There's love there. You know that they love you, and they give you everything that they possible could. But the way we play and make jokes and stuff like that in having kids now was different from then. And some of those things were hard to throw in when you're having your own kids. But as time go by, then you realize that, okay, nothing is wrong with this or with that, with, and stuff like that. So it makes it much easier now when you have your grandchildren. And Eliva, don't you even smile.
I have so much to say, but I'm going to wait because what some of you may not know is Michelle and I used to go to each other's houses, and we
All the
would
time.
enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Wow, Mom Lancaster has come so far, and we want to thank the Lord.
That's right. And I think that's because you and Michelle was like, you heard what she said before, right?
Like what? Loving and cared about each other a
So
lot.
I had was to be watching and watching and watching.
We had a lot of fun though.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
did. We
yeah.
did. Now, I noticed, like, even with Cheyenne will call my mom
That's
almost
right.
every day. So
Yes.
they have, like, a bond between the two of them, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So, how do you feel? Like, where did that relationship with your grandmother come from? How did that develop?
I think more so when we moved here. But I would say, like, in the last maybe 2-3 years, would you say? Maybe. More so when I was getting into this stage of, like, marriage and wanting to learn how to do certain things, like how to cook certain foods. And then also, more so when Grandpa got sick,
Yeah.
and I realized that Grandma wouldn't be able to do some of the things that she normally does. I just automatically took over certain roles. So then learning how to do things the way she did it, we developed that relationship, and then communicating about, okay, what needs to be done in the house or what do we need. That's how I think our relationship really began to grow. Um, and now, yeah, I call her pretty much every day or every other day.
Twice a day.
Yeah, sometimes
Sometimes
twice a day.
twice. Yeah.
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 So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing thing to have that generational love so that you, Cheyenne, have the opportunity to be very connected to your grandmother. And then she will impart wisdom to you that probably skipped Michelle,
Whatever.
but will just, no, I'm just playing. But, Michelle ignored it. And so,
I do know how
ignored
to
the
do
word.
those things, but she enjoyed doing it with
I'm
her
sorry, Michelle, I can't hear you, honey.
Whatever. No, she's being sarcastic. So even Jaylyn, for example, has that relationship with her grandfather, and it's again that bond that is developed, right? Right, Jaylyn?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing too is, and for all the young people who may be watching this, may not be watching it, pass it on to them. It's important for us to have a relationship with our children and with our parents. You ever heard the saying, once a man, twice a child?
Yes.
Today for me, tomorrow for you.
That's right.
You, yes.
Wow, I'm sounding so Jamaican right about
You're
now.
sounding like
It's
Oh my
rubbing
gosh,
off.
I'm
It's
such a
rubbing
good
off.
mother, eh?
It's rubbing off.
But the
Yeah.
You're
important thing
child.
is, parents have to understand we need to love our children because and have a relationship with them, because what's going to happen tomorrow when we become elderly or weak or whatever the case may be, guess who we need to take care of us?
Yeah.
It's our
Yeah.
children.
That's right.
And they're not putting me in a senior's home. I already told them, and I'm telling it to the world. But anyhow, it's important for us to understand that that's what's going to happen. And I'm here to take care of my mom because we had a relationship where she took care of me. And that's how we understand an important relationship with our parents. So if you think that you cannot have your parents as friends, I'm thinking you need to rethink that. both
Absolutely.
parents to children and children to parents. It's so important for us to understand that this moment, this stage of our life, is only for that period,
That's
right?
right. That's
So
right.
don't hold back on expressing yourself. And parents, don't close your ears that you don't listen to your children. That is so important that we listen to our children. It's not going to be easy, right? Right, Mother Baker? Right,
That,
Mom? Right,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believer? Right, Cheyenne? It's
Yeah.
not going to be easy
No.
to hear people or our children say certain things, or being disappointed because you had an aspiration and they went somewhere else. That's okay. That's okay. We
But
love
part of
them
that,
unconditionally. Go ahead, Aliver.
I was going to say, part of that, the disappointment often comes because we're trying to live our own dreams through our children,
Yeah.
but we need to let go of that. And I realize that as much as I want certain things for both of my children,
Yeah.
I still need to be open enough to allow them to go in the direction that they need to and be supported and to guide them in their journey. I have to say, my mom, again, along with my dad, it wasn't a one woman show, as great as she is, right?
Yeah.
As long, my parents really allowed all of us that freedom to be.
Right.
There was a lot of guidance. It wasn't like just a free reign show,
No,
right?
no,
Yeah.
definitely
But
not.
pardon me, mommy.
She said
No, I
definitely
said
not.
definitely not.
Oh no, it
Yeah.
wasn't, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of opportunity for exploration and
Right.
there was the support for exploration, right? So within reason and within range, we could express ourselves. My parents were very I moved off and went away to school. Best thing that ever happened to me was to go right was to go away because actually that's when my mom and I became friends.
Wow. Yeah.
Like the deeper part of the relationship
Yeah.
Yeah.
grew as a result of being away
Being away.
because
Yeah.
I now knew what I no longer had, right? So when
Yeah.
I came home and you expected certain things or that person to talk to or to dialogue, she just wasn't there. So then our relationship grew as a result of me being away.
Yeah.
Right.
Mom, I mean, I would call her like every day. Like it was like as soon as I walked in, hey mom, how are you? How was your day? And blah blah blah. And I want to come home. That was a big thing, but that finally went away.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it was, aren't you coming home? Like you
Yeah.
know. But it was that opportunity. So we can't live our dreams through our children. We have to let our
Right.
children dream and support their dreams,
Yeah.
and that's key.
And it's also important that the grandchildren or our children share their dreams with us because they need guidance.
That's
They
right.
need wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and they need to top that off with the fear of God. They can't just run wild because the errors or the mistakes that we made, we don't want our
Want them to
children to
make
make
it.
that.
That's right.
And you have some children to, okay, I'm going to try and see how it works. Or no, the mistakes that I made, they don't have to make it if they will listen.
Yeah.
So you have to guide your kids. They don't know the road that we have been through,
Right.
and they don't have to go that way. So
Exactly.
I teach my kids to learn to listen. They don't always listen.
That's
However,
true.
sometimes they learn the hard
Especially
way.
Lever.
They do. And then they'll come back to you, for pity. And you still have to listen. You can't throw them out because they're yours.
Can't throw us out.
Can't throw us out.
She's never tried though. I'm
I've
going to tell
never
you,
done that.
she
No.
never tried to throw us out. But there was a lot of
Yeah. 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 And go ahead.
You're right, Mother Baker. It's not that you don't want them to explore and to find things out for themselves, but also it's good for you to know and to help to navigate them because might be the path they're taking might very well not be the right path. You're not saying you can't do this or you can't do that, but is that gonna be good for you? So this is it. You just have to be there for them, and when you work together as a team, they have to realize that you're looking out for their good, as long because you love them and you want what's best for them. So
uh,
And also, in guiding them, you have to do it with love.
Yeah.
And be patient and to be kind and to be understanding.
Mhm.
You have to know why have they chosen that path.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you know it's not right, listen to
Mm-hmm.
what they have to say. Let
Yeah.
it not be said, Mom, you never told me, or Dad, you did not tell me. And I want to say, one of the things that really allow your kids to be close to you is loving your kids,
Yeah.
touching your kids.
Yes.
You have to touch
Oh.
your children. You you cannot you cannot tell your children you love them and you
And you
never
never
And
touch
you
them
embrace
never.
them.
Yeah.
That's
or
Yeah.
right.
hug
That's true.
or kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gifts is
Mm-hmm.
not love. I can give
No,
you
gifts
a
are
gift.
good. Gifts are
Gifts are
good.
good, but I can give you a gift and I don't love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give you a gift because I can afford it.
Yeah.
But I might not have very much to give you.
Mm-hmm.
My mom never had a lot because it was 8 children. But the love and the gentle touch, it
Yes.
was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somehow God has blessed me with that gift of touching,
Yes.
gift of, gift of hugging, and gift of kissing, because
Yeah.
it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Jesus touched
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he hugged. And in the Bible says, greet your brother with a holy kiss. So all that together,
Yeah.
the nurturing. And if you don't start early, it's too late when they're 15. This is why
Yes.
we lose our
That's the hard
children.
part.
That's the
Yeah.
hard part.
And it's why they'll never come to you with a problem
Mm-hmm.
because you were never there. You never listened. Sometimes what they're saying is nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
but just listen.
Yes. Just listen.
And then you can work around them.
Yeah.
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 That's true. Well, we have a person who wants to say something. Oh,
No, we have a
oh, we
question.
have a question.
Oh, I thought Jay was coming out. Okay.
I thought Jalen was coming out too.
Do you find that being grandparents, you've become softer with them than your own children?
100. Sorry.
Yes. Definitely.
You're a
De-
grandparent.
Definitely.
But I'm telling you, on behalf of my
You're
mom, she's
not
going to try and butter it
grandparents,
up.
so how are you answering that? Definitely. You find it a lot more easier. Well, for one thing, you don't have that responsibility um, for the grandkids, and therefore, and you know, you can spoil them and send them home.
Yeah, that's true.
Going
100%.
upstairs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
find it a lot easier right now because I think also because you're not in that is you're not parenting in the way like when you have your own kids. So it's easier. It's nice.
Are you
Now I
softer?
do things with my
Yes, you're
grandkids.
softer,
Yeah.
but it all depends.
Oh,
Because, like my daughter Olivia, she doesn't want me to say to them, wait until your mom comes home. She's going to discipline you.
it's true.
So I have to do it myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she's still soft.
But I'm still soft and I'm kinder and gentle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like to
Truth
see her
be
get
told.
too firm with them, and then Carol says, I don't love her, I'm going to Mia, I'm going to my grandmother. Yes.
Because she wants to get away.
Yeah.
Karis and
Yeah.
Karis and my mom have a very unique relationship.
Very close.
Karis calls her baby.
Oh.
This is
Yeah.
her baby.
Okay.
Karis named her. They don't call her grandma because that would be too traditional. They call her Nia.
Mm.
I don't know where it came from. Don't know how. That's it. So it's Nia and baby. So in the
Yeah.
mornings, Karis will not look for me first. She will go to look for baby.
Okay.
Or
Mm-hmm.
if I try to wake her up, where's baby? Then she will wait for baby to come into her room
Mm-hmm.
before she does her thing. But my mom is soft. Yep, extremely soft. Where I would have got my bottom tore up,
Mm-hmm.
they get a gentle, no, you can't do that. Jesus doesn't want that. Jesus didn't want that with a pow pow. It was a totally different story.
Because we're not supposed to be raising kids at a certain age. These are our baby's baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
So I
25.
have another question that I want to throw out there, because we're almost winding down. But the other question I wanted to ask is favorites.
Pardon me?
Favorites. Having the favorite child. Now, sometimes that's a big thing. Cheyenne's my favorite, or Jalen.
What?
Or,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm not saying that. Or Jalen's my favorite. Like, you know, sometimes parents don't come out and say it, but maybe their action may make one child feel like they have a better relationship with you than the other. And that's something that we should talk about before we wrap it up. Having a favorite child, does that happen? Should it happen? Should it not happen? Do you have a
Do you want
favorite
the
child?
grandparents to answer first?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's have the grandparents, then you and I, and then we can ask Cheyenne and Jalen, do they have a favorite mom?
Huh?
Okay. I think it's a good
No, a
question. Go
favorite
ahead.
Oh,
mom.
my mother
Yeah.
like that.
I meant that.
Yeah.
We only have one mom.
Okay,
She
then
must
that
be
would
the
make
favorite.
me be their favorite. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's hear from moms, our moms, what
Okay.
you think.
I don't personally. I would say I don't have a favorite child. Everyone is different in their own ways. There are certain things with one that you might not like, and there's something else with the other one. So everybody has different
Claws?
faults or stuff like that. So I would never say I favor this one over that one. No. You know what I used when even when the kids were small, and I think about this sometimes when it was like their birthday, and it's one person birthday, but I make sure all three, when it was three and when it went to four, everybody get a gift, but the birthday person would get the bigger gift, just
That's
that they
fine.
didn't
I
feel.
don't subscribe to that at
Eh?
all.
Like,
No,
we never
a,
got
a
that.
big, but the birthday person gets something more special. But
Yes.
just that, especially when they were small and they don't understand fully that, it's my birthday and not your birthday. So to, you know, to not allow conflicts,
Yeah.
then you'd give everybody some. When they get older, that
Yeah.
was change.
Change.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Candace says hi, Grandma.
Hi, Candice. Yeah.
Okay, Mother Baker, your
Well,
turn.
I don't have a favorite. I have one son and two daughters. Now, the girls think that Athol is my favorite because he's the only boy and he's spoiled. Athol and Shanique thinks that Libra is my favorite because she's the first one. And the other two think that Shanique is my favorite because she's the baby. But they're different characteristics.
Yeah.
Now, for
That's right.
example, Eliever is the child, and they all hug and kiss me, but she is so gentle. She loves seniors a lot. And at the same time, she was also close to my mother, and she was so tender. When you're sick, she will hold your hands. She's a lot like Michelle, and she will hug you, and it just was so gentle.
Yeah.
Now Athol will come and he'll play with my ear
Oh
and
my
he will
God.
pinch me and he'll watch me and he's just all over me. That's the way he displays himself. But Shanique now she take charge. She said, "Okay, mommy, that's it. We got to do that. You got to do that. You got to do that." And she's firm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean she's not loving. Just
No.
that's the way she displays herself. So
Herself,
I have
yeah.
no favorite. And even if there's something special about one, they will not know from me
Yeah.
because I don't want them to think, oh, the mom preferred this one, mom preferred
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
No, they'll not hear that from me.
No.
Okay.
But
Okay.
they're
Amen.
all the same.
Amen.
They all have their place and their role in my life, and I thank God for them. They're very special, and they're the sweetest kids in the world because they're mine.
That's
And
right.
does that mean a lever?
Pardon me?
Does that mean a lever, Mother Baker?
I mean,
Yes, me too.
Does
well,
oh Lord.
Yes, me too. She included me
Oliver,
too.
before we come to you, we have another Facebook comment or question.
Hyacinth would like to know, Lever, how much you paid your mom to say that.
Tell Hyacinth that she owes me money, so we're good.
And Candace would like it to be known, Candace Baker would like it to be known that she is actually the favorite.
Candace.
yes. Yeah, because she's the only daughter-in-law.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Wow, good, good, good.
And And she's a sweetheart.
Yes.
Oh,
And I'm glad my
Candace
son
said that
married her.
Preston's the favorite.
And
Candace
she's a
Smith.
part of me. So when I'm praying, I pray for my 4 children.
Of course.
Of course.
Including
Of
Candy.
course.
So
I was gonna
Cheyenne
say-
was saying,
Oh, Candace Smith said that Preston is actually the favorite now, which I think is true. The youngest grandchild then becomes the favorite child of.
Okay, now we're gonna get a little bit So here's the thing about the grandchildren.
Yeah.
There's only one set of twins. Only one set of twins.
Yeah.
Christian came out first, so he's the number one boy.
Oh,
Harris
wow.
is the only granddaughter, and
Yeah.
Preston is the baby. So like my siblings and myself, and I'm gonna talk about favorites with the siblings. Mommy doesn't have a favorite. We just each have a very specific place.
Right.
I was fortunate to be a solo child for 8 years, so I got all of the attention.
8 years.
Then when my brother came, he got attention, and he's the only boy, right?
Yeah.
So
So
it's
it's
not really.
different.
We each have our own position.
Yeah.
Right.
Then Shanique came. I prayed for a sister, and I got the baby sister, and she's the baby. So, like Mom said, we each have very specific roles, no favorites. But I will tell you this: she calls me the most.
Because you're the older one.
And she calls me the most too. I work the
Yeah,
hardest
because
for
you're the
her.
oldest.
That's right.
You're the
I
oldest.
work the hardest for her.
Yeah.
Pardon, Shelby?
I said because
She
you're
takes
the
everything out of
oldest.
me.
That's why. So, but even I'm saying you're the oldest. That's why she calls you the most as well,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
Yeah, my mom used to call me the most too.
Whose mom?
Her mom,
Her mom. Oh yeah.
My mom used
And
to call
are
me
you
the
the
most.
oldest? Are you the oldest?
oldest
And
girl.
oldest girl.
Oldest girl. And there's
And
there's
she
there's a
called me
certain
and said,
thing.
Miss Jess. How are you?
There's a special bond. That's why I say it. There's a special bond with moms, with daughters especially. Not saying that they don't bond with the sons, but there is a certain bond with mothers. Cheyenne and Jalen, they're equal for me. They have different personality and they offer different things. Cheyenne is a very social butterfly. If you look on her Facebook page or Instagram or whatever, she's just all over and she goes to all the church concerts and then Jaylyn is silent but deadly. Like she's silent. You don't hear her coming, but she's there and she offers like this vast of knowledge of stuff. So she's always, well, Mom, this makes more sense or practical, So they both have different ways that we connect. So before we close out, again, I just want to thank Jasmine, Mother Baker, and Elever Baker, my mom, Vona, and Jalen for everything that they're doing today on this podcast, and you guys and all the Facebook Live viewers out there. Again, I want to reiterate, this is Women to Women Talk. This is about the myths and the struggles that we have. Let us bind together, encourage one another, and let us mend broken relationships with our children and the children with their parents, and then our grandchildren. It is important for us to understand that our future is based off our present and how we develop our relationship. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.